Hello and welcome to Sit and Knit for a Bit. I'm your host Melissa. You can find me on Ravelry at Aurora Evermore. I'm coming to you from hot Texas. And I say hot 3 times because we are in the third, and the triple digits, the third digits. This is my second take and I was like, I'm going to be a little bit more serious this time and do this right. And there I go, the third. Anyway, this is my yarn room, which is inside my house. And I have 4 dogs and 3 cats and a bird. My 4 dogs' names are Olive, Ripley. I'm trying to decide which order to do. It doesn't matter. Olive, Ripley, Evelyn, and Fleetfoot. And then my cats are Amelia, Nina, and Riri. And the bird's name is Kiwi. Oh, I have a lot to show you guys today. I've got some finished objects, some whips, some new cast-ons, and some plans for the future. And I'll try to keep it in that order for you guys. So, but I have a lot to talk about, so let's get started. First off, I finished my purple tank top. This is the Pretty in Pleats tank top. I am calling it my my Tank of Woe tank top. It's a dark color, so it's hard to see, but there are little pleats here, which was very interesting to make. It followed directions and you'll be fine, but it was like, what? But do what she says, you won't go wrong. I did have lots of other problems with the project. Not with the pattern mostly, but with the project. I don't know if I talked about it last time because I know I was making it last time, and so I know you've seen part of it. But I think I talked about it. I should always watch my last one before coming on here because, yeah. Anyway, I had finished. It's a bottom up, and I had finished like the body and the back, and then was starting on the front and discovered that things were not adding up. Literally, the numbers of the stitches were not adding up, and I knew I wanted the correct number for the pleats, and I wanted them to be in the center, and I just couldn't get the numbers right, and it was just So I was like, you know what, screw this. I've got other errors where I was doing the switching of the yarns because of the little tiny bit of variegation. I didn't want anything pooling. And on the side, I was pulling the second yarn a little too tight. But I pretty much blocked out. I haven't noticed. There's like maybe a little crease where that is, like a little fold, but it's not bad. But anyway, I was like, I'm just gonna redo the whole thing. So I started ripping back, and ripped all the way to where it was like maybe 2 inches down on the body. So that made it where I had, I don't know, 13 inches still on the needles. Not really on the needles because I ripped the needles out, but you know what I mean. And I was like, oh my god, I don't want to knit all that again. I was like, oh my gosh, it took me forever. And I usually like stocking knit, but it was getting a bit. Whew. I remember there was one weekend that I was like, I just can't just sit here and knit stocking knit. I was actually getting bored, which was super shocker to me. I usually like easier stuff because I usually read or something like that while I'm knitting. But I was just like, I can't. And so I was watching a show, and every other show was switching between projects. And anyway. So I was like, I just want to go through that again. So I decided that, you know what, I'm going to pick up the stitches again. And I'm just going to figure this out. And I even like counted the ribbing at the bottom because it's 2x2 ribbing, and I count in 2s anyway. So I'm like, that should be super easy. And I came out with the correct number of stitches. So I'm like, why is this so weird? So I did it again and just really paid attention to what I was doing, I guess. I don't know. I kind of counted in between stuff. I don't know. And I got the right number. And I didn't really change anything. Like, what the heck happened? I don't know. I do know that I was planning on making it again in a different color, but after all that, I was like, why do that again when there's other stuff in it? So we're not doing it again. The other thing I had a problem with is, if you can see, like, my bind offs and stuff here are not very clean, especially this side. The pattern told you to pick up along the edges and knit like maybe 3 or 5 rows, but it was curling, and there was a little bit of a curl, but not bad before I did that, and I was like, I don't know if this is gonna block out, and I don't want it to sit there and curl. That'll drive me nuts. And it really isn't curling that bad, and it doesn't look that bad, and it's just a tank top to wear whenever, you know. I can't wear it in the office, it's a little bit too revealing, but I was just like, unless I make myself a little one of those like shorty cardigan things. What are those things called? Yeah, I need to make one of those. Anyway, so I was like, oh, and then you were supposed to do it again, you know, for here, which is why it's really wonky. But it was curling. I was like, oh, I'll rip it out. And I think I tried it one more time. I don't even remember what I did. I don't know. Still was curling. So I tried it a third time. I was like, I'm gonna do some ribbing. But where I was picking up the stitches, it was actually folding over. The ribbing was staying nice and straight, but the picking up was folding over. I'm like, well, this is even worse. So I was like, you know what? It's not that bad. I went on Ravelry and looked at everybody else's patterns that had done it, and theirs was curling a little bit, and I was like, you know what? Screw it. It doesn't look that bad. I could always add it in later if I really, really hate it. And so I just blocked it. Like I said, it's a little wonky, like right here. It's just not as clean. This side's fine. I don't know why this side's different. It's kind of curling in just a little bit. Maybe I didn't block it very well on this side. I don't know. But I don't care. So Tank of Woe is finished. The yarn is Beachy Breeze Fibers. And the colorway is Purple Twilight. It is their Boardwalk Sock fingering weight, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 4-ply, 463 stitches. I'm going to try to get this close to you guys so it's not a glare, but then again I need it to focus. Focus. Maybe, I guess I'm supposed to get my face out of the picture. There. Oh, maybe. Oh well. I read it to you. So there's that. Drink some tea. My tea today is one of my favorites, and I actually have the package here. It's a loose leaf tea called African Solstice. It's a very floral tea, and so it's kind of sweet on its own, which I go for because I don't add cream or sugar to my teas. I just drink them straight. And so I look for teas that are already sweet. And I discovered that last year I had bought myself a little like sample package thing of loose leaf tea because I was trying to expand my horizon of teas. And I came across one that was called African Solstice. It was a different brand though, but I really liked it. And so I went on like Amazon, found that. I was like, it's good enough for me. Tried it, and I mean, I have not done a comparison because I ran out of the other one anyway before that came. So I don't know if it's the exact same kind or whatever, but it's good enough. I like it, so we're gonna go with it. I am drinking out of one of my favorite teacups. It's just like, to me, even though it's not really fall colors because there's blues and stuff, but to me it's kind of fall because of the leaves. There's even leaves on the inside. And this is the plate. It's a little bit easier to see the pretty leaves. Isn't that gorgeous? I love this teacup. So I told myself, this is like my one and only cup of tea for a long time because it's just so hot here. I'm going to go all out. I'm going to drink my favorite tea and drink it out of one of my favorite teacups. So, okay, moving on. The other finished object I have are these ugly self-striping socks. I've had one person say they like it, and if I knew that, I would have knit it in her size, but it is what it is. I don't have a ball band. I got this yarn from that sale when that lady passed away, and a lot of her stuff did not have ball bands on them. But I don't know, the colors just don't go together for me. Plus, I don't really like pink, and like to me, this is like the worst pink ever. And I know other people love that pink, and if I'm gonna like pink, it cannot be the baby pink. I'm sorry, it's got to be more like the deeper, almost peach, or even maybe, is it fuchsia? I don't know. I'm not a pink person, but I just figured, well, years ago, I couldn't tell what it was going to look like in the ball. You never can, you can't tell very well. So I started knitting, and I was like, oh my god, this is awful. Yeah, it's gross. And back then I was new to knitting socks. I wanted only pretty socks. And so I cast them aside, and I was like, ew, I'm not doing that. Well, then I was like, I'm not going to knit anything else with that yarn. Nothing. I am not making a shawl out of this. I don't have more, don't want more. What am I going to do with it? So I was like, fine, I'll knit myself a pair of ugly socks. And I'll just wear them around the house. No one will even know. I do plan on making like some scrap yarn socks later on. So this is kind of what it looks like, just without the pink. And there is some sparkles, which I like. Not a whole bunch, but there is some. So I was like, fine, it'll just be my ugly socks. And if you haven't noticed, you can see that this one is super baggy. So my tension, this was the second one, my tension always loosens up on the second one, which kind of drives me nuts. Which causes it to, if you look, the striping, because I do toe up, the striping on, in the beginning looked spot on, and then by the time I get to about the heel, it's getting a little off, and then a little bit more off, and a little bit more off. It became really off, but I don't care. They're already ugly. I'm sorry to the person who made this yarn. I just don't know why you would put those colors together. Were you just testing out colors? I mean, like, the whites within the blue is kind of cool. It makes me think of like a starry night, but then you got that baby pink in there, and then the yellow and like the yellow and brown and green go together just fine, and so I don't know, was it two different types of self-striping that you stuck together? I don't know. So there they are. My ugly socks. Oops. Sorry. I'm trying to put them underneath the stand. Okay. So that is it for finished objects. And so I'm going to jump into my works in progress. And once again, my hair is driving me nuts. It's almost long enough to I can put it in like a semi-ponytail to get it out of my face, but I only do that at home or when I'm mowing the lawn, which I do at home. Anyway, another pair of socks. I'm almost finished with the first one. I'm calling these my Viking socks because the yarn brand is called Viking, and I couldn't think of any other name, and I just didn't care. I'm like, whatever. This is another one that I had started knitting, knitted the full first one, and did not like the pooling of the yarn that much. But it was also back when I was knitting with 64 stitches as opposed to now where I'm knitting with 60 stitches. And because I'm knitting with 60 stitches, it kind of made these like these micro stripes, which I actually kind of like. Also, once again, I mean, browns and purples, I don't know. I love purples, but I don't know. They're not super glamorous. But I was like, what else am I going to do with that yarn? So might as well knit it. So I ripped back that one sock. Plus it was really loose. And I've started, again. And I'm like, these are fine. These are better than what the other ones look like. And I don't care as much. So, my weird pooling. That's kind of how it was pooling earlier, and I was like, okay, that's just kind of weird. But I'm I'm liking them. I'll show you the ball band. There we go. Viking hand-dyed yarns. It is a super merino sock, 100% super wash merino, and it's 100 gram. It's called Precious Metal is the colorway. It is a little bit more of a like stiffer yarn than some of the other yarns, and I'm wondering if that's because I don't have any of that nylon in it, because it is 100% superwash merino. Let me know if you think that's the reason. I don't know much about like the types of yarn. I just go, ooh, that's a pretty yarn, and it's this size of yarn, so I can knit this. I know, I think you want the nylon in for the socks because it holds it together so they'll last longer, but oh well. If I only get a few wears, I hope I get more than a few wears out of these. We'll see. I don't know. Once again, what else am I going to knit with those socks? With that yarn, I mean. That is being housed in my like sock walk to go bag, which will be moved later. We'll talk about that later. The only other whip you know of, and I don't even know if you know about that one until now, but there we go. Because I think I forgot it last time, but maybe I did show it to you guys. Anyway, my other one is in my Ravenclaw Harry Potter bag, and it's the Homestead Cowl, which I cannot find on Ravelry. If it's on Ravelry, it's by a different name. It was a bundle package. I know you got the pattern and the yarn. I think I got it on Facebook. I don't know. I don't even have the original copy of the pattern, but it was a paperboard pattern, so I can't really show you. But anyway, this is my first cowl. It is the one where it's like changing colors. I go from a darker blue to a lighter blue, and it's a big change between those two blues. This has actually got 3 shades of blue. See, this one's a little bit lighter. So the blue colors are not quite perfect, but it'll be fine. But you do different types of lace work. I find this section really weird. It's like so much stockinette and then a lace section within the garter, which I found really weird. Where this, you had some garter and then the stockinette, but you had the lace section within that. Same with here, you had the garter on each end and the stockinette, or, you know, garter, or stockinette and lace. This one was weird, see? All this stockinette and then the tiny little bit of lace. It's hard to see because of the yarn. It's just kind of weird to me. It seems like that part needed to be here. But I reread the pattern and that's what it told you to do, so I'm like, okay, fine, whatever, I don't know. And I figure when you're wearing it, it's going to kind of be all squished up anyway, you know, as a cowl, and so you're not going to really see it. So, and it doesn't bother me that much. It was just like, did I read the pattern wrong? So that is that. We're getting there. I'm enjoying it, so that's not what I mean. I don't have a deadline. How about that? I don't have a deadline for this project, so I am just kind of just working on it here and there. If I need a to-go project, but that I can look at a pattern, you know, I'm not too busy not to look at a pattern, that's what I bring, is this one. So, like, I brought it to my knitting meeting one night, because there you can still look at a pattern, but it was easy to take it with me. Plus, I needed a break from the Tankerwoe. Yeah, I took like a 2-week break before finishing this. And then when I finally did pick it up, because I was almost finished, but I was like, I just need to step back. I pretty much just had like this section to do and then the front of the sleeves here. And so I got it done in like one evening, but I was just like, I needed just to wait until that evening was just right and let's get it done. And that's what I did 2 weekends ago. But anyway. Okay, so now I have 2 new cast-ons to show you. Yes. One is, so a couple weeks ago I had, a few weeks ago I guess, I'd gotten some homework. Yay! Even though I just graduated college, my job gave me some homework for some continued education. We're getting a new computer system and we're learning about it and blah blah blah. And I'm fine with having homework, but I'm just like, could you just at least give me like a couple months before giving me homework again? But anyway, it entails a lot of reading and some little videos to watch. And I did not have, well, I was working on a pair of socks, but then I came to where it was like a heel, or at least increases for the heel, and I was like, I don't want to be distracted at all. I want to get this done. And so I put the socks aside because I'm like, that I have to, you know, at that moment I have to look at it. Anyway, so I was like, you know what, there was a project I was planning on casting on that's just straight garter stitch. I can do that. So I cast on, not like I need more, a blanket! And my dogs try to eat it, but I think I saved it, but it's probably got dog hair all over it, and I shouldn't have done that because now I'm going to get dog hair all over my tank top. But I think I've shown you this yarn, and telling you that I was planning on oh my god, there's just so much dog hair. I'll have to fix it later. Although it's going to be a throw blanket, so it's going to have dog hair on it. So I'm showing you the back. I'm just doing 10 rows of each color striped blanket. Pretty much the only reason why I'm doing it is because the yarn is just so lovely, so soft, silky, and squishy. It is a Knit Picks yarn. Let me see if I can get one ball band to show you, which is very hard because my dogs ate most of them. Aha! Knit Picks Mighty Stitch, and I've got several different colors. I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before. I meant to make some, oh, don't want that to happen. I meant to make, oh god, the dogs. That's what I get for leaving my bedroom door open one morning and going to breakfast. I meant to make like these really thick stocking nets for me and my mom. And it was back when I was still kind of new at knitting, and I had started with the foot, and I was doing kind of 2 at a time, but I was still doing double pointed needles, but that way I get the color right when I was switching colors. And because I was kind of doing like this, these block stripes, and had a cabling, and it was really pretty, and these were super soft squishy yarn. Oh, love it. Well, I decided, it was maybe 2-3 months ago, I just like, you know what, I really need to start finishing some old projects that have been sitting down here. So I picked those up. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get these going, and maybe I can actually finish them by winter. Yeah. Picked them up and started knitting at it and started looking at it, and I was just about to start, like, according to the directions, just about to start increasing for the foot, because it was toe up. And I'm like, wait a minute. I've done a lot of socks in my time. What I already had knitted was bigger than my foot. And it was just now increasing for the heel. I'm like, it's going to be twice as, maybe even 3 times the size of my foot. I was like, I don't know what I did wrong. Once again, that was way back in the day when I was still kind of a new knitter. I mean, it was like 7-8 years ago. Okay, more like 6 or 7 years ago. I've learned a lot since then, though. And so probably I'm using the wrong type of yarn or the wrong type of needle size. I don't know. And so I was like, nope. I still want to knit that pair of stocking nets someday, but I just said no. And I was like, I'm just going to get rid of the yarn. I don't care. But I was like, God, this yarn is so soft and squishy. So I was like, you know what? We'll just make a easy throw garter stitch blanket. Don't care. Just something to throw on the couch. And so that's what we're doing. So this probably won't be done for years to come because it's only when I just need something, blah, to knit on. And I feel like knitting on this, or I don't have something else, blah, to knit on. So And when I saw that my dogs got a hold of it, I almost just threw it out then. But they didn't actually hurt anything. One ball was really messed up, so I had to kind of just quickly hand wind it. Some stuff was a little tangled, but the project itself wasn't chewed on. So other than losing some ball bands and maybe like 6 inches worth of yarn on one of them, that was it. So we decided to keep it. Darn dogs. My fault. Okay. The other cast on I have is something it's my next top, since I finished this one. This is being hosted, this is being hosted in a bag I got as a gift, just a big old bee bag with leather straps. So, nothing fancy, not an actual knitting bag, but good size for like blankets or big sweaters or something. So, and I've been dying to use that bag, so finally got to use it. Okay, let me quickly find the pattern. By the way, this is, oops. Mila! I don't know if you remember making this, but yes, your horse is farting. Thank you. But I still have them. That was a couple years ago. Mila, a friend's daughter of mine, made me that one and another one. There's another one behind it. I think it's a hippo. But he's puking and farting, and well, actually he's supposed to be farting apparently. I think it was like a fart coloring book. So I still have those 2 on there. Anyway, not that anybody wanted to see a puking hippo. I'm trying to find the front page to the pattern. Hang on, because I don't remember what it was called. La 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 la. I've been watching like SpongeBob like crazy. Okay, it's the second one. Okay. I do not know how to pronounce this pattern, but it is a free pattern on Ravelry, and I know it's going to be hard to see. But there's the name. And it's fingering weights, and it's got this cable section in the middle. So hopefully it won't be so monotonous as this, which is my idea. I am knitting it in a like mint, well, maybe not really mint green, no, lime green, yarn by Cascade Yarns. It's a top down tank top, and there's a bunch of different adaptations you can do. You can do a little bit more, I think she called it the sexy neckline, which I think goes down a little bit more. And I think there is a couple different ways to do if you want to add sleeves, which I think I'm going to do some short sleeves, and I'll talk about that in a second. There's also a ruffle bottom as opposed to a ribbing bottom, which I don't really like ruffles, so we're going to go with the ribbing. But here it is. Isn't it pretty? Oh. Here, try to stretch that out. Oh, look how gorgeous that is. Which I think these armholes are huge, but they're probably not. I just attached the back to the front, so now I'm knitting in the round, which I've been looking forward to, because you start by, yes, this isn't free pattern, but I'm not giving too much away anyway. You start by up here for the back, and you do a provisional cast on, which I've never done before, so that was kind of, woo, YouTube moment. And then you do some German short rows, and then you pretty much knit the back, and then you increase for the armpits. Then you pick up those German short rows, and you kind of do the same in the front, except that you do this pattern, the cable pattern. And then once you get enough length, then you connect them, and now I'm starting knitting in the round. And like I said, I am super happy about that, because I was actually struggling knitting the front part. I don't like purling that much, and So when I have to do a purl row, I'm like, ugh. And like I said before, I like a lot of, as I try to kill myself, I usually like easy, just stockinette or garter, just round and around, don't have to think about it. But this time I wanted a little bit of interest, and so that's why I wanted to do this panel. Well, when you're doing just the front, you do the panel like all the time. You don't get a huge break. You get a little bit of a break when you're doing these side pieces. But now, and it actually will probably be the opposite, I'll probably get monotonous. Now you do all the way around, and then you get interesting, and then you get easy, and then interesting, and then easy. And so I'm like, yes, that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm actually hoping to get back into reading. I got a book I want to finish, and this way I figure I can read while doing the stockinette, and then just do the cable section real quick, and then pick, I'll have my book in front of me, and then look at the book again, and knit, and then when I come to here, okay, stop looking at the book, and look at the pattern, So I think it'll definitely take me longer to read that book, but it's better than not reading it at all. The only other thing, so anyway, it was just really weird construction. I totally get it, and she's doing an amazing job on the directions. Amazing. It was just, it's not for anybody that is a beginner knitter. I wouldn't suggest it. Obviously, you can do whatever you want. Like for the armpits, she just says cast on this many. Well, it doesn't tell you what kind of cast on to do. So I hope it doesn't really matter. I did just kind of a loose cast on because I know I'm gonna want my armpits stretchy, personally. And so a lot of them I did that that backwards loop cast on, I think is what it's called. I did some of that. But it doesn't really tell you. So you kind of have to just know a little bit about knitting before working on this. I mean, you don't have to be an expert. I'm definitely not an expert. I'm a good intermediate. Not that I like ranking myself. I don't like that feeling. The only problem I do have with the pattern is when she says things like we're doing some increases, okay? And she'll say, knit 2, and then make 1 left, and then knit the rest until 2 before, make 1 right, knit 2, and then the other side purl all, and then she says, repeat rows 1 and 2 5 times in total. Now, does that include the 2 pattern, or the one I just did? Or not, because most time it doesn't. Maybe it usually just says repeat 5 more times, but she said 5 times in total. She says that every time, and I think my numbers have been off because I've been doing it just 5 more times, so it's really 6 rounds of those increases. But I figured I'd rather have it looser than too tight, because I am a little bit of a hefty girl, and so I'm like, if it ends up being a little wider, and I mean it's looking okay, it's gonna block out. It actually looks really tiny right now. So I rather it be like that. Plus, this yarn, or maybe the pattern or something, it's really a loose fabric. Trying to think of the right word, and especially where the cabling is, and if you get the light just right, and with being a light color, I'm afraid you're going to be able to see through it, and so I don't want, when I go to block it, I don't want to completely stretch it out and make it even more see-through, although I do plan on wearing like a white tank top underneath. Mainly, I was planning on doing that anyway because that cabling is going to show, and I mean there's lace work in the cable, and the cable goes all the way down. And so that's why I'm thinking about doing some sleeves, and then with me wearing a white tank top underneath, I can wear it to work. So it's not going to be as cool of a tank top as like this one, where it's just 1 layer, but that's fine. I think I'd rather have something I can wear at work than at home, because I don't really wear this that much at home, and I feel bad that I can't wear it to work. I do want some that I can have at home, but I want more for work because I spend way more time out of my PJs at work. So that's the plan. Oh, I even thought about if I would try to get away without wearing a tank top underneath, that maybe I should stop the cable like up here and then just do stocking it all the way down, just have the cable this section. But like I said, the yarn is already kind of see-through, kind of loose, that I was going to have to wear a tank top underneath anyway, so what's the point of that then? Plus we get back into that just stocking that forever and ever and ever, and I really wanted to do that cable. The cabling is an okay cable. It is definitely not a memorizable cable. You have to have the chart in front of you, but it's not a hard one. It's pretty simple. I would say intermediate. It's a good one if you like some, not really a challenge, more something that you know have to look at. So anyway, I'm enjoying it. The yarn I bought on my birthday is the Cascade Heritage, the 75% superwash merino wool and 25% nylon. To me, it just seems looser, like small. I don't know. It could be just the color. Like I said, that light color. I think the lighter colors show more underneath than the darker colors. I think that's where I'm being thrown off. But I'm pretty sure most people know what the Cascade Heritage yarn is. Oh, what colorway is this? Oh, color number 5629 is lot 03. But yeah, so been working on that. Super happy now that I've gotten to a good part. Now I have to do that section for like 13 inches, but it's fine. And then, like I said, I'm going to add on some sleeves. I think there is an adaptation in the pattern for that. That seems like such a big armhole to me. But then again, I mean, I don't know. So maybe, I don't know. We'll have to see. And I don't need like big sleeves. I just need a little bit of something, you know. I don't want like 3/4 length or anything. I just want just a couple of inches maybe to go to here. So